Good morning and welcome to Orca News. The headlines. President Klavinsky visited London for the state funeral of Queen Elizabeth. President Klavinsky in New York for the United Nations General Assembly. Elections Commission to conduct a plebiscite on the inclusion of Loveheart Village. And representatives call for amendments to the Rooftop Air Defense System Act. President Klavinsky and other delegates attended the state funeral of Queen Elizabeth II. Paul Wanders reports.
President Klavinsky, House Speaker Robinson, and former President Limson went to London for the state funeral of Queen Elizabeth II on September 19. They arrived in London the day before the funeral. They attended the funeral service and procession at Westminster Abbey and paid their tributes and respects. The leaders also met with several world leaders during their trip. President Klavinsky wandered around London and traveled back to New York for the United Nations General Assembly Orca. House Speaker Robinson and former President Limson returned back to Landova the day after the funeral. Heads of state from across the world flew in to join members of the royal family to remember the Queen's life and service. Senior UK politicians and former prime ministers were also there. Members of royal families from across Europe, many of whom were blood relatives of the Queen, were also in attendance. After days of lying in state, the body of the late Queen Elizabeth II has made its final journey as part of a grand state funeral. It traveled first to Westminster Abbey for a religious service in front of a congregation of thousands, and then to Windsor Castle for a more intimate committal service and, in the evening, a private burial. The Queen was buried together with her late husband, Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh, at the King George VI Memorial Chapel, located inside St. George's Chapel. This marks the end of the funeral service and procession of the belated Queen. This is Paul Wanders reporting for Orca News.
President Klavinsky visited New York for the second time for the United Nations General Assembly. More to report from our Orca News international correspondent, Eamon Rhodes. Eamon?
Yes, Natalie. President Klavinsky has visited again New York for the United Nations General Assembly after his visit from London to Queen Elizabeth II's state funeral. President Klavinsky first arrived in New York last September 10 for the commemoration and tribute to the September 11 attacks. President Klavinsky then left for London at the Queen's funeral on September 19. The president returned here to New York last September 21 for the United Nations General Assembly and bilateral meetings with several world leaders. The president in his meeting with leaders emphasizes a change in society in economic and just wise actions to combat global challenges around the world. The executive secretary didn't disclose whom the president talked with. The president then ensures that once Landova has gained its prosperity and sustainability, Landova is committed to the United Nations call for global actions against serious issues in the 21st century. The president is expected to be back in Landova by tomorrow. Back to you, Natalie.
Thank you, Eamon. Here's our weather for today. We have 4 formed cyclones in the Atlantic Basin. Post-tropical cyclone Fiona is currently battering Nova Scotia and most of eastern Canada with hurricane-force winds. Puerto Rico was also impacted by Hurricane Fiona a few days ago. Fiona is located 220 kilometers east of Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada, and has winds of 160 kilometers per hour. The Landova Meteorological Agency stated that Fiona will not impact Landova. Tropical storm Gaston is located 90 kilometers west-northwest of Fail Island, Azores, Portugal, or 1,260 kilometers south of Landova, and has winds of 85 kilometers per hour. Gaston will also not impact Landova. Tropical storm Hermine is located 505 kilometers northeast of Cabo Verde and has winds of 65 kilometers per hour. And Tropical storm Ian is located 555 kilometers southeast of Kingston, Jamaica, and has winds of 65 kilometers per hour. Ian is expected to make an impact over Jamaica, Cuba, and Florida in the next few days. The Elections Commission will conduct a plebiscite on the inclusion of Lubhart Village in the province of Picot. After the approval of the inclusion of Lubhart Village to the Province of Picot Act, revoking its autonomy, the Elections Commission is now preparing to conduct its plebiscite in the village, whether citizens approve or disapprove of the said act. There is no exact date yet for the plebiscite. Meanwhile, if the whole plebiscite agrees upon the act, the results of the votes will be processed to the Elections Commission and to the Interior Department to honor the approval of the act immediately. Several representatives call for amendments to the Rooftop Air Defense System Act. Amendments include the non-mandating of defense equipment on all rooftops of public buildings and installing equipment in open high-terrain areas. The Landovian Acts Party mostly disapproved of the currently approved Rooftop Air Defense System Act, for it is unruly and intolerant to the freedom of the people. Vice President and Senate President Jefferson likewise are willing and open to amendments, while installation has not been done yet. Moreover, claims from social media antagonize the utilization of the claimed German World War II gun turret and must be removed. Orca News analysts clarified that the gun turret on top of the Plainsfield residential building is in fact a World War II artillery gun, but not of Germanic origin. As of today, the Health Department has recorded a total of 29,830 vaccine doses administered, 12,189 of which are fully vaccinated from the initial prescribed doses, while 2,991 had their booster shot. Booster shots are open and available for phases 1 to 5. And that's it for today's news. This is Natalie Coles, reporting for Orca News. Good morning, everyone.